Hi everybody, I'm Natalie, and we're going to be talking today about some different types of diets and their benefits. And when I talk about diet, it's not the diet that you're thinking of where you're just going on a diet and depriving yourself to lose weight. These are diets that are for a lifestyle change. We're going to talk briefly about the standard American diet, which is the S.A.D diet. We're going to talk about the vegan diet. We're going to talk about the keto diet. We're going to talk about the raw diet. And we're going to talk about the vegetarian diet. Now, we've got some people here at the center today, so I'm outside, and I forgot about the fact that we will be having cars go by. So I'm all about improvise, adapt, and overcome. So let's touch briefly on the standard American diet. The reason it's called the S.A.D diet is because it's very acid forming and it leads to a lot of health problems. That's what we call lifestyle illnesses, and most illnesses are based in acidity in the body. And if you can overcome that acidity, you can transform your health. So there are different ways to do that. One of my favorite ones we'll talk about first is keto. Now, the reason I like keto is because it's a carnivore diet. There's actually now one called carnivore, but we're not going to talk about that today. I like the fact that you can eat meat on keto. I am a meat lover, and sometimes I joke that I'm a cheating vegan, but it's an absolute joke because I'm definitely not a vegan. So I've tried being a vegan. I've tried all of the ones that we're going to talk about today, and I'm working on one of the ones that we're going to be talking about. So the keto diet is higher in fat and lower in carbs and medium protein, okay? And with anything, you can do a healthy way to do it and a not healthy way to do it. So a lot of the packaged things that say they're keto, if you actually take the time to read the labels, they have pretty much all the carbs that you're supposed to eat in a day and some little teeny tiny snack thing. So that would be an unhealthy way to do it. You really do need to pay attention to what they call your macros in keto, and there are some simple ways to do that. There are apps online that you can download, but your protein to fat ratio is very important because what you're training your body to do is to burn fat. And this is a great weight loss diet, but in my experience, when you quit any diet and you stop doing what you've been doing to get the results, ladies, you know this, we tend to yo-yo back to where we were or beyond, which means heavier than we were, which is not fun. And I think we've all done that. Anybody want to raise their hand or say, you know, you've done that? Because I've done that. All right, it's not fun. But I have felt better on keto than I've ever felt in my life in so many ways, and had more energy and thought I could make it a lifestyle and do it forever. And then I think, you know, I just really want that Chinese food, and I go get that carbs, or, well, it's my son's birthday, I'm gonna go cheat for that. And then I go on this slide that I'm off the diet and I've totally messed up. But the good thing is every day is a new day, and we can redeem those things. So that's keto. On keto, there are certain fruits and vegetables that you don't eat, even though they are fruits and vegetables, because they have too many carbs. Paying attention to the carbs is a very big deal in keto. And even after you've lost your weight, you can maintain by eating fat bombs and things like that, which sounds disgusting because you think, ew, am I going and getting lard, or am I getting fat off of meat? It's really not that bad. They have some delicious treat type things that are, quote, fat bombs, and that's to give you energy and for your body to be able to burn that fat. So let's talk about the raw food diet, because when I first heard of raw food diet, I'm thinking they're gonna make me like not cook my meat. Well, it's not quite like that. You don't get meat on the raw food diet. Although I have a little bit of a funny story. I think it was funny. I was very young and I was very naive, and my husband and I were young, and he worked in Beverly Hills, and so he was going to take me to lunch in Beverly Hills, and we were basically poor because he worked and I was a stay-at-home mom. And we go to this fancy restaurant, and the least expensive thing on the menu, and this is like 40 years ago, was $15, and it was steak tartare. Well, steak, okay, you've got my attention. I can eat steak. I like steak, right? So I order steak tartare, not knowing that steak tartare is uncooked hamburger. So, needless to say, I didn't eat my steak tartare, and I was not strong enough in who I am as a person today that I could say to them, you know, could I go ahead and have my hamburger cooked? Didn't send it back, didn't eat it, paid for it, and had a miserable time in Beverly Hills, and that is the only lunch I've ever had in Beverly Hills to this day. I haven't told you anything about the raw diet. The raw diet is eating mostly juices or soups and things that you primarily haven't heated and cooked a lot, because you're losing your vitamins in the cooking process. But you're not eating meats, but you can have some fabulous meals. I made something one day and it was glorious, and my husband said, oh my gosh, this is like restaurant quality. It was good food. It was tacos, but it had the meat had been made out of nuts, and the cheese had been made out of nuts, and I'd homemade the salsa, and you used a lettuce wrap for the taco shell, and it was delicious. But A, nuts are expensive, and B, it took me all day to make that single meal. For me, being on the raw food diet is like a full-time job of cooking without cooking. So there you go. It's not one of my favorite diets. It's healthy. I don't see a bunch of fake nut milk and fake cheese and all that kind of thing that's made from nuts as being anything of a natural diet, because do you see any animals making stuff like that? So speaking of animals, let's transition over into the vegan diet. Well, that wasn't what I wanted to say. I was going to say vegetarian, but let's go with vegan. Okay, vegan is one where it's can be very healthy or it can be very unhealthy. I had a sister-in-law who recently died of brain cancer that was a vegan, but she was an unhealthy vegan. She would not, vegan, you can eat chips, that's fine, you can eat chips all day, every day. You can eat any kind of junk all day, every day, as long as it doesn't have anything that has come from an animal. So they do not eat butter, they do not eat cream, they do not drink milk, obviously no meat, honey, eggs. You can have protein. So for example, broccoli has a lot of protein, and avocado, things like that, if you're choosing to eat healthy vegan. For me, vegan just about made me crazy because, I'm trying to accommodate her for meals, and I'm trying to figure out what to cook, and something as simple as mashed potatoes that I put cream and butter in, can't do that. Now they make a lot of fake vegan alternative things, but then you're still getting into expensive processed food that is or isn't healthy depending on what it is. Read your labels. Now it's becoming ridiculous. Even baking soda has things that have been altered in it, and I just learned that. I had no idea that we had become that extreme in the amount of things that we've allowed them to put in our food that is bad. Okay, very bad. So let's go on to vegetarian. I've got a funny story about vegetarian too. I was eating healthy, and I had gone through my whole little you know, my raw and my vegan and my vegetarian, and really trying to seek to be healthy 19 years ago when we first got into the alkaline ionized water. I now represent the Chanson brand of alkaline water ionizers. And you can transform your life by alkalizing your body. And you can do it with many of these ways that we're talking about. Certainly you can do it with the raw food diet. You can do it with the vegan diet if you're careful. And you can certainly do it with the vegetarian diet. We're also going to be talking about the alkaline diet. And I have two friends specifically. One woman lost 100 pounds. The other man, lost, I'm not sure if it was 50 or 100 pounds. He lost a lot of weight. They did it only by changing their eating. He was on 50 pills a day for all of these different sicknesses and diseases. And by alkalizing his body through diet without using alkaline ionized water, which is not the same as the alkaline water that you buy in the store, they both just transform their health, transform their bodies. All of his sickness and diseases, every single thing he was taking medication for, and medications for his medications that gave him side effects, all of it was eliminated. Okay, and it took them both about a year, but I would certainly say 100 pounds of weight loss, which I know is for sure for her. Can't remember if his was 100 or 50, but I knew both of those people personally, and it was absolutely amazing. So we're still talking vegetarian here. Let's talk about unhealthy vegetarian and healthy vegetarian. I have met glowing skin, beautiful hair, strong nails, amazing healthy vegetarians that have been vegetarian their whole life, and all of that they eat is vegetables and fruits. Okay, so you can do that, and there are ways to do that and ways to have protein. And I have a friend that his son was born and raised vegetarian, and he says, you know, my son is as strong as a gorilla, and gorillas are vegetarians. And he was, of course, very proud of that. And his family always had let's say hummus out on a plate, and some cut up carrots and bell pepper and things like that to snack on. So they had their alkaline ionized water there, they had their healthy foods to snack on, and this was a very healthy, happy family. Now, when my daughter decided to become vegetarian and raise her daughter as a vegetarian, I started sending her, you know, the Vegetarian Times and vegetarian magazines, and here, let's get you on board and get you some healthy, delicious foods to eat. Her response was, "Mother, I became a vegetarian to save the animals, not to become healthy," which I think that was absolutely hysterical, and I joke about it to this day, but she really chose a path that she has every right to choose. And what I'm saying is not criticism, but my opinion that living on French fries, potato chips, basically potatoes, burritos, bean and cheese burritos, probably isn't the healthiest vegetarian choice. I have seen children that were vegetarian that ate a piece of white bread with barbecue sauce on it, and they considered that a barbecue sandwich. Well, what that is a sugar sandwich on sugar bread. It's just sugar and no nutrition, like no nutrition. So I want you to think about food and what you're putting into your body and why it's important, because it is important. You're either putting in poison or you're putting in nutrition. And I'm as guilty as anybody. There are things I absolutely love, like our ice cream that I think is so fabulous. Okay, love, 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 but I have to choose to use wisdom, choose to use moderation. Alkaline Reset Cleanse. And I've told you I haven't been feeling real well lately, and I figure it's time for action, okay? I took action when I first got diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes. Did really well for about a month. Started doing so well that I fell off my little wagon, and then I found out real quick that the things that I were doing was working so well that if I stopped doing them, they were going to stop working. So I have worked for many years with alternative cancer doctors, and they're regular doctors, but they also embrace alternative things. And alkalizing the body through diet is one of the things that is very important to them. So I would say that this alkaline diet is very much on the raw side of things, but you're mostly talking juices, smoothies, soups, and a lot of liquid nutrition, which for somebody that is struggling, and I am not a doctor, I'm not giving medical advice, but I have had the privilege of hearing many, many, many doctors that cured their cancer without chemo or radiation used this form of alkalizing the body to help themselves. Now, there are other things you want to do, like lymphatic massage, and exercise is so important to anybody for any reason, and I'm super guilty of not doing that. Like walking to my mailbox up the hill right now is the most exercise I get. I was doing construction for a long time and very busy with that. And now I'm stuck really in a sitting at the computer mode, which is not my favorite thing. And I have to take responsibility and move my body. Whoops. Now, I used to dearly love to go dancing. Every single Saturday I would go dancing, every once in a while midweek. And, I'd get about 4 hours exercise then. And my husband and his back just don't really care for that. And now that he's feeling better and having less pain because of the energy enhancement center that we have here, I'm hoping to get him out on the dance floor as part of our exercise routine. He gets plenty of exercise. He gets way more than an average human being. And at one point he said, I think I might have high blood pressure. And I took his blood pressure and I just absolutely laughed. The man is a pro athlete and does not have high blood pressure. He is extremely healthy, and extremely healthy blood pressure. And, he had a lot of aches and pains from a lot of various injuries over the years in his sport. And so he drinks a juice every morning, and he drinks different juices for his kidneys and different sort of things. He's from Mexico, and the Mexicans definitely know a lot about natural things that are healthy that we as Americans have been steered against because our medical system wants us to go to pills, and the pills they make money on because they treat the symptom, not the cause. When you start dealing with your diet, you're dealing with the cause. And then you're going to see a result that is different and long-lasting and not having profound side effects. When you start on the Alkaline Reset Cleanse, you can go through a little bit of it. It's not a detox diet. But when you start putting out a lot of toxins, you can get a headache, or you can not feel real well, or you can feel a little bit nauseous. But I want to read you the subtitle on this, and then we're going to pretty much wrap up for today because we've talked about the different diets. I'm going to go in more about this soon because I'm working on this, but it's called the 7-Day Reboot for Ultimate Energy, Rapid Weight Loss, and the Prevention of Degenerative Disease. And I'm definitely interested in that last part. This is by Ross Bridgeford. It is by Hay House. He's got several books out. I've known him for at least 15 years now, probably closer to 17. And a wonderful man, really walks his talk. And, I go through seasons of doing this, and actually for years, even living here, I was doing green drinks, and just somewhere along the line, something broke and I stopped. I have to encourage you, improvise, adapt, and overcome. If you don't have every single thing for the recipe, do the recipe without whatever that thing is. And if you don't have the right tool, figure out another tool. If you don't have a juicer, use a blender and strain it. Okay? We'll talk more about those things, but thank you for watching, and